Hello everyone, I'm Sheriff Wayne Ivey, the Brevard County Sheriff's Office, and I'm here at our Emergency Operations Center with our Public Safety Director, our PIO, and our Director of the EOC. We're going to give you an update from all different angles right now on the hurricane as its potential impact for Brevard County. I want to say first of all, thank you to everyone that have been staying tuned with us. You've certainly from our page, from the Emergency Operations Center page, Brevard County Government page, everybody has been staying very well informed and working with us as we're all preparing for this storm. As Brevard County always does in true fashion, everybody is working together. We're all trying to make sure that our neighbors are taken care of, and I couldn't be more happy with the response we've had thus far. To get us started, I'm going to ask our Communication Director, Don Walker, to come in. And Don, if you'll just go ahead and give us a quick update on our communication plan.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Donald Walker. I'm the Communications Director for Brevard County Emergency Management. I just wanted to talk briefly on our communications plan. We are posting regular and speedy updates all day long, 24/7 on the hurricane and what its impact on Brevard County is anticipated, and other storm type preparation information that we know our residents are looking for and need. And we realize that not everyone's on social media, so we do have that information as well posted on our county website. So I'm going to give you all the pertinent information on how you can get the latest updates from Brevard County Emergency Management. First of all, on our county website, which is www.brevardfl.gov, and at the top of that page, when it comes up, you'll see a red bar that's got COVID-19 on it, which are our latest updates on the COVID-19 pandemic. But also on that same red bar, you'll see the hurricane listed there, and if you click on that, it'll take you to all the latest information that we put on our website. In fact, it'll take you to all the information we've posted so far on the hurricane. Also on Twitter, at this address, @BrevardEOC, you'll get the latest updates, and on the county Twitter page as well, @BrevardCO_FL, as in Florida. And then on Facebook at Brevard County Emergency Management, and also on Facebook at Brevard County Government. I mentioned our website, brevardfl.gov. And then if you would like text alerts, emergency alerts from Emergency Management, on your phone, you can do that by texting Brevard EOC to 888-777. I also wanted to mention briefly too, normally when we do these Facebook Live events, we've been wearing masks. Today we're social distancing, so we're able to take the mask off. We're all 6 feet apart. I appreciate it. I'm going to turn it over now to Public Safety Director Matt Wallace.
Hello, good afternoon, Brevard County, and thank you for tuning in to us. As always, what we say when we have these events, it's about getting information to you, the public, so you can make informed decisions for yourselves, your families, and your loved ones, so we can make sure we're protected and safe as we weather out this storm, no pun intended. As Don Walker said, we are not wearing masks. We're social distancing. You can't see the back of the Emergency Operations Center, but we've divided it in a place where now we can socially distance and continue to do our operations in the EOC appropriately and safely. I'd like to just address 2 quick topics that we've been seeing a lot of chatter and a lot of questions about. The first one is the mandatory evacuations. And I'd like to say happily right now, with the current track, speed, and intensity of the storm, there currently is no plans to issue a mandatory evacuation for anybody in Brevard County. Of course, we will continue to monitor the storm very, very closely to see if any of those things change. And as John Scott comes up here in just a few seconds, he'll be able to give you some details on where the storm is going and what our projected path is and what our plan is. The second thing that we've seen a lot of questions about is shelters. So again, with the shelters in the current track, in current track of the storm, we currently are not planning to open any shelters. However, we are pre-positioning supplies and equipment should that need arise. We're preparing manpower and shelter staffs so we can respond very, very, very quickly should the need arises to open up a shelter. We're going to lead turn that and be prepared on the front side, being proactive to make sure that we take care of our citizens. Again, we're going to closely monitor the track and conditions, and we'll be as responsive as we absolutely can be to make sure we take care of you guys. So again, thank you for tuning in to us, and please continue to tune into our social media sites and all our media sites out there as we get you the latest information. I'd like to turn it now over to John Scott, and he'll give you the latest on the storm track and information, so again, we can continue to plan and prepare for the storm. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you, Matt. Good afternoon. My name is John Scott. I'm the Interim Emergency Management Director here. And talk to you guys here about what's going on with the storm track. I'll give you sort of the highlights of where we are. We've had some good news in the recent track forecast. We've seen it move just a little bit to the east, which means it's sort of pushed a lot of the weather further away from us. That is good news for us. But I expect that the track will continue to wobble back and forth a little bit. So we'll see it go a little east, we'll see it come back a little west. The important part is the impacts haven't really changed. So we're still talking about a potential medium to high tropical storm with sustained winds in the 40 to 60 mile an hour range and sustained winds slightly above that. We continue to monitor the storm and work closely with our friends at the National Weather Service, Melbourne, and make sure we're getting the very latest information so we can plan appropriately here and then communicate that out to everyone in our county. Matt touched on what we're doing. Again, shelters are always a point of emphasis for us. We continue to make necessary steps to be able to activate them quickly should we reach the point where they're necessary. We also have staff in here at the EOC. We'll have folks here 24/7 the entire weekend, so that if the situation does change, we'll be able to respond appropriately. Outside of that, I'll turn it to the sheriff, and we'll be around for questions.
Thank you, John. You and the team are doing a great job here, so we greatly appreciate it. Just a couple things from the law enforcement side. First of all, we do not have a curfew here in Brevard County. We trust our citizens. Our citizens always work with us very well. They partner with us to make sure that we're doing everything right and that we're serving as a model for other communities around the state. So we do not have a curfew. Currently, there are no plans to close any of the causeways. I believe that will continue. We are making sure that, as John said, we're tracking the storm, getting all the latest updates, trying to get them out to you, but currently there are no plans to close any of the causeways. Our sandbag distribution points are still active. Those will be active until 3 o'clock this afternoon. That way we can get all the debris picked up and make sure that we're getting the team back in place so that they're sheltered. But we have 5 locations, chain of lakes in the north end of the county. We have Mitchell Ellington on the Merritt Island and also for our beaches. In Port St. John, Canaveral Groves, and the Cocoa area, we have just across the street from the jail on Camp Road, we have a distribution location set up there. Calvary Chapel in Vieira, off of Stadium, we have a location there. And then at Eastern Florida State College with our great partners at the college down in Palm Bay. So 5 locations. Those locations, again, will remain open until 3 o'clock this afternoon. Wait times right now are about 30 to 60 minutes, so not a very long wait at all, and you don't have to get out of your vehicle. Our team loads them right in. The inmates are out working very hard. As we always tell everybody, they are stakeholders in this community too. Even though they may be currently incarcerated, their families are out there, their friends are out there, so they're doing everything to help out and to make sure that everyone stays safe. So take advantage of up to 10 sandbags per vehicle that's out. Okay, and the last couple things is just right now is the time where, if you haven't already, you should be finalizing your checklist, making sure that you've got all of your needs, anything, whether it's water, whether it's food, medications, and please include your entire family, your pets as well. Make sure you have all their medications, make sure you have them secure. Clean up any loose debris that's outside of your house, and be mindful of your neighbors. Some of your neighbors may not be able to go out and clean up their area, and so please, as we always talk about, it takes a community to protect the community. Please go help furniture, and then please make sure that your pets are secure, not only before the storm, but during the storm and after the storm as well. So with that, the last thing I will say is the checklist is available at brevardfl.gov. Don told you earlier how to get to that part of the website. Please keep checking back with us. We're going to open up. I don't know if we have any questions. I'm going to check with our team, see if we have any pending questions before I close out that we've got. So it looks like we got a couple of them. First one's going to be for John Scott.
Hey, John. So I have a question about what kind of wind and rain expectations can people expect for the inland
John, can you
areas?
repeat that back?
Yeah, so the question is about wind and rain expectations for inland, so i.e. Sort of 95 or US 1 in west. Obviously with this storm, the strongest winds are going to be right along the barrier island, so we're talking to see, earlier I talked about 40 to 60 mile an hour gusts right along the barrier islands. We'll still see wind sort of come into the inland part of the county. How much we see will depend on how close that storm is. We could see winds in the 30 to 40 mile an hour range inland. We could actually get to situations where it's as low as 10. It really is with this storm going to be very location dependent. What we've sort of been our mantra around here with this storm is, miles matter. So the closer it is to the shore, the larger the impacts will be felt inland. If we get lucky and a lot of the weather stays off to the east side of the storm, we could see very sort of manageable impacts. But that doesn't mean it's time to let our guard down. As the sheriff said, we need to make sure we're taking care of the last minute items on our checklist, that we're planning for our families, and that we're taking those last minute action items necessary. I bet you've got more for me.
I do have more for you. Should people be putting up their shutters?
We talked about this a little bit yesterday when it comes to shutters. My best recommendation is it doesn't hurt. It's a good opportunity to make sure you can do that, make sure they work, make sure everything functions. This is a good test for those things, especially if you live right along the barrier islands or along the ocean itself. It's a good opportunity. We know that throughout the year they get a little rusty, they get a little stuck. So to go through that mechanism, if you haven't already done it, I think it's a great idea.
Okay, I've got a couple more for you. So we've said before that the causeways do not close. What about other bridges?
So no, other bridges don't really close. I mean, we do have, we have one bridge, Mathers, which is a drawbridge. They will occasionally lock that in. We have a couple more drawbridges on the north end. I don't think we're going to get to wind speeds where that's going to be necessary to lock them in, although I would hope we don't have boating traffic out there that encourages them to actually open and close.
And so I know that we're not doing evacuations, but I did have a question from somebody asking, should beachside be evacuating?
So again, it is a wind event, and a lot of times when we evacuate beachside, we're doing it because of water. We're concerned with storm surge, we're concerned with flooding. That's not really what we're talking about today. We're talking about, that mid to strong tropical storm. So really, if folks who are maybe they maybe live in a dwelling that's more susceptible to some of those higher winds, if they're not comfortable, this is a great time to reach out to a friend or family and see if you can't maybe stay the night or the weekend with them.
So John, you said this is going to be a wind and a rain event. How long are we expecting the worst of the storm to affect us?
Right now we're talking about the worst of the storm in the range of 8 to 12 hours. So that's what we're talking about. So if we begin to see impacts tomorrow morning, which are what the projections are, so the south end of the county to see stuff around 6 a.m. in the morning on the current projections, and then it will slowly move up the rest of the county. That begins to put impacts in the rest of the county in that 9 to 12 range, sort of moves on up north. So my guess is all of tomorrow we're going to see some level of impacts. We should start to see some of that weather move in later today and into the early evening hours.
Okay, and just to reiterate, are we looking at a direct impact? Are we looking at it skirting away from us?
We're looking at what we call a paralleling storm, so something that comes right along our coast, something that happens very frequently when tracks come. We get a lot of storms that move south to north right along our coast. We talked about it yesterday, we talk about it a lot. Don't focus on a landfall, don't focus on a category, focus on the impacts from it. We're talking wind, making sure we're protecting against wind. We're talking a little bit of rain, making sure if you're in an area that floods frequently, you're doing everything to keep your drains clear, your stormwater clear, all that kind of stuff.
All right, I got two more for you. So will the shelter situation change if the track changes dramatically from what we're seeing right now?
It may. It may, and if it does, we'll get that out. Again, I emphasized it earlier, so too did Matt and the sheriff. We are doing everything we can to be as quick and nimble with this when it comes to our operations. So we have things staged, we have people on the ready, we can move them if necessary. So we're good on those things. And we always want to make sure we're using the right resource for the right event. If it changes, we'll be ready and we'll let everyone know.
Okay, awesome. And just one last thing, what can people kind of expect to need in their kits? Are we talking a loss of power? Are we talking loss of water? What kind of things are we?
Yeah, I mean, it's a hurricane, so you can always expect the unexpected. That's what they do best. So with this stuff, it's the traditional stuff. It's making sure you've got water. It's making sure, the sheriff talked about medications. That's really important to make sure if you rely on those things, you have enough of those. Then it's basic hygiene items. It's basic food. We're not talking about a situation where we're going to be impacted for 3 or 4 days. We're talking about really what we hope to be a full day event, and then we're back into recovery.
Okay, excellent. I've got a couple questions for Dawn.
All right.
Thank you, John.
Yes.
So Don, can you repeat just one more time? What is the number and the text that we do to get the text alerts on our cell phones?
So to get a text alert, you message Brevard EOC, you text it to 888-777. So on your phone, like you're sending a text, 888-777, and in that text box you would write Brevard EOC. I should also mention that if you would like to get our press releases, we have put out some press releases during this event, including yesterday's local state of emergency that was declared in Brevard County, and also for the sandbag distribution sites, and then we updated it also when they added a 5th site to that distribution. If you want to get our press releases, go onto our webpage, brevardfl.gov. At the very bottom of that page, there's a little yellow bar, and if you click on that, you can subscribe to those press releases. You can subscribe specifically just for emergency management releases, or you can get all kinds of press releases, whether it deals with parks and recreation, natural resources, or others. So depending on what your interests are, and along with the emergency management, you can sign up for those press releases. I want to take just 1 second to humanize this. I got a call about an hour ago from a woman who lives on Merritt Island in a mobile home. She recently moved here. She's never been in a storm like this before, and she wanted to know, should she go to Orlando, or is she safe in these winds that are expected in her mobile home? Well, my first question was, well, tell me about your mobile home, or do you feel safe there? She said, well, the roof's not very good, and we've got a big tree hanging over our roof. So we're not asking people to evacuate, but if you don't feel safe in the structure you're living in, it's a manufactured home, a mobile home, or maybe you're medically susceptible that if there was a power outage, you would need to have power, then you might consider evacuating. We always want people to be in a safe place when there's a storm like this that hits. So if you don't feel comfortable right now in your home knowing that there's a tropical storm or a Category 1 hurricane coming off our coast, then you should make arrangements to go somewhere. The woman was asking me, should I go to Orlando instead? Well, why would you go to Orlando? Just go to a hotel. Go to a safe structure. That's what you're looking for. She hadn't even thought of that. So the good news now is maybe she'll stay the night in a hotel and not be driving all the way to Orlando, but not being in a mobile home that might not be safe. So with that, I'm going to turn it back over to the sheriff to close this out one more time, and then we'll take it from there. Sheriff?
All right, team's doing a great job here, making sure that our community is safe. John Scott and his team have been on top of this storm from the very beginning. So we please, as we close out, ask you to stay informed. You heard the website earlier, brevardfl.gov. Go there, you can get all the information, including checklists. Keep staying with us here on Facebook and our social mediums so that we can get you the very latest. As John said earlier, this storm right now, we are looking at the very minimal impact. However, if anything changes, we want to be able to tell you that right away and get you that information. So thanks for being with us. We'll have you later, an update later today or as we get the information in. So we appreciate everybody. Thank you.